Hi, this is Mike, and I've created this video to show you how to migrate websites out of TSO Host into a typical cPanel environment. And I'm going to show you how to migrate files, SQL databases, and email accounts. And then I'm going to show you how to make a modification in your localhosts file on your machine to make the DNS of the domain locally resolve to the new server. In other words, it'll allow you to pretend that you've switched the name servers over, and you'll be able to test the site and have great confidence that the migration has been successful. So the first stage will be to log into the control panel inside VitaHost. You will see something that looks like this, and all the websites that I've asked you to migrate will be in a list. So the first one will be O'Rourke Bespoke Joinery. So you start typing it in this box, and then you'll find this is an alias. So this isn't a hosting account, it's a domain mapping. Then you'll see this is a Linux hosting account. So the blue button says Manage Website. So the first migration will be o'rourkebespokejoinery.com. We copy that domain into our clipboard, and then we go to the Manage Website view. So the first thing you want to do is double check if it's actually hosted here, because there's some sites they may have moved away to another server, but they're still inside the cPanel here. So what we do is type in the URL in this checker, click search, and then confirm that it says Paragon Internet Limited, TSO Host. If it says this, then we're good to continue. If it says something else, then skip that account. So we're good to go because it says Paragon Internet Group, so we're good to go. So what we're going to do first of all is, while we've got that domain in our clipboard, we're going to go to the sector 1 control panel and click on Create New Account, and follow these steps exactly. Paste the domain and make sure it doesn't have www or http or anything like that, just the domain bit.com, and then press the tab key, and that will take you and automatically give you a username. The password, you click password generator, you click I have copied the password. It doesn't matter if you forget it. In the email, put mike@ignite-systems.com. in the package, select Borg.Digital unlimited single site, and then finally untick the DKIM setting, and then click on create. It seems complicated at the first time you do it. After you've done it a few times, you'll get into a rhythm. Then you can press the blue button that says go to cPanel, and we now have a cPanel ready for this client to set up their hosting account. So now we're going to go back to the dashboard, and the first thing I will do is go to email accounts, and what we want to do is create all these mailboxes here. Some don't have any, and then we skip that, but as you can see here, we have 5 mailboxes. So I'm just going to copy the first part, Andy, and I'm going to click down here on email accounts, and then on there it's quite easy to click on create, and we're going to create Andy, and just click on generate. It doesn't matter, you don't have to remember it, we will reset that later, and then click create, and then we go back to the hosting account. I'll move this closer, and then we do inquiries and we create it. So inquiries, generate, and click stay on the page after create. Then I can move to the next one quick. Generate, create, Paul, generate, create. So we're creating IMAP accounts for these mailboxes, and later on I will migrate the email across using a script. So we've done the first part, we've set up the mailboxes. Now the next stage is to go back into the higher level menu. So I'm going to click on the domain there on the crumb trail, and then we want to go to the file manager and have a look what sort of a website it is. The website files are inside the public HTML folder, And as you can see, here is a large collection of files. What I find, I can see that this is not WordPress, it's a HTML site. There's lots of HTML pages. There's a CGI bin. Let's have a look inside and see what's going on there. Probably like a form mail, I suspect, is in there. There's nothing inside, so we don't need CGI bin. So you've got images, HTML, CSS, there's a PHP file here. So it's a straightforward file system. So what I'm going to do for this one is drag my mouse over the whole thing, right click, create archive, gzip archive. And what we have to do now is wait for the gzip archive to complete. Even though this file is showing as ready now, it still could be getting bigger. I've noticed this before. If I download the file straight away, it's incomplete. So always give it a few seconds or give it a couple of minutes before you download this tar file. So the clue for you is we can right click this file and click on rename, and then we press Ctrl+C. It has already highlighted the file name for us here. And now we can go to the website URL, so org.bespokejoinery.com. We put / and then the tar.gz file there. When we hit enter, it's going to download this backup onto my local machine. We now move back across to the cPanel server, and we click on the tiles here to go back to the dashboard and click File Manager. And now we enter to the public HTML folder, and then you click on Upload, select File, and the recently downloaded file, which is here, I'm going to upload it. So that's gone green now. That means the tar.gz file is uploaded. I'm going to shut that uploading window and click Reload, which will refresh the File Manager public HTML directory. And you can see the file is there. I can now right click the file and I can extract the file into the public HTML directory. And now I'm going to select and delete the tar.gz file, which is no longer needed. Now what you can see inside our cPanel account is the file system. So it's took 7 minutes so far, and we have migrated this site across. It was straightforward because there was only a HTML simple file system, no SQL databases. I'm going to do another video now, which will show you how to migrate the SQL database the easiest possible way. So there's one more step, which is your localhosts file. So at the moment, when we visit org.bespokejoinery.com, the name servers of the domain obviously are pointing to Paragon, and therefore when you type the domain, it's resolving the site hosted with Paragon. And you can see the IP address. I have installed a handy widget. You can see the bottom is showing the IP address 185.119.162.1.6. It's not the same IP address as my cPanel server, which you can see the IP is here, ends 151.207. So what we need to do is open up the command run on Windows, which brings up a little utility that looks like this. Type in there drivers. Now comes a window like this. You go to the etc folder and then right click hosts, and you edit with Notepad the hosts file. What we'll do is put in new host entry, so it means to ignore the world DNS, and it will resolve the domain name to your to our web server that we specify here. So this is the IP address of the cPanel server we're migrating to. I'm going to copy the domain name now into the clipboard, and then I'm going to go back in here and we're going to put in 2 entries. It's very important that there's no like HTTP or / or something. So we put one entry, which is the raw domain, and then we put a www entry as well. Now we have two localhost entries resolving these domains to this server. Now we're testing the site, so without risking any issue in real life to happen, what we are doing now is we're simulating as if we switch to the domain name server. So the IP address showing in this box here, or when I touch it, it goes to the other side. that we expect that to match the localhost entry we just entered, which ends 151.207. So let's hit Control-Shift refresh and see the IP has refreshed. We're now sure we're looking at this website on the new server. So I'm going to click the links now to portfolio and have a test. See the IP switched back to TSO host. So I'm going to hit Control-Shift refresh again and confirm until basically the DNS cache on my browser keeps hitting back to the original server, but I press Control-Shift refresh, it's now showing on our server. So I'm just testing things. I'm clicking every URL. There's no email form here, so we don't have to be worried about testing the email contact form on this side. So this is a really simple migration. We've finished. We've also switched to localhost entry in our localhost, so we're confident the site is working fine. Actually, it's very fast on the new server, which is what we expected. It's super fast. So yeah, at this stage you can mark the task as ready for email migration to happen, and then we will take care of the email migration separately. Okay, so I'll spot you just before we are finished. Actually, remember to remove the entries once you've tested, otherwise things get confusing later in life when you forget about them, and it causes confusion. So I'm gonna click save on this, click Control-Shift refresh, just waiting for, see now it's hard cached to my server. Let me just help things along a little bit. So now it should go back to the IP with 173.216. So our PC is now resolving back to the normal location. So that was the start. That's how you do a super fast static HTML site migration from TSO host to Sector 1. In the next video I'm going to show you how to migrate a MySQL database. So when you do WordPress, you follow exactly the same steps you just followed, but we will do an additional step, which is to migrate the SQL databases and connect the wp-config file up to the database. I'll catch you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Cheers. Bye.